Hi there. This video is going to teach you how to create a simple line graph in a digital assignment made with Microsoft PowerPoint. For this specific example, we are creating a single line graph that shows the number of bubbles produced by a water plant per minute at different depths in a body of water. In this particular assignment, we were provided with a template that looks like graph paper. And if we wanted to, we could use shapes and text boxes to create a graph on this template. However, we are going to use Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Excel to create a digital graph from this data. I'm going to go to the blank slide in this assignment, select Insert, then select Chart, and I'm going to go down to scatter. I prefer to use scatter rather than line because there's a little bit more flexibility in how you label and choose the data that appears on the X and the Y axis. So we're going to create a scatter or a line graph with a smooth line here. We could make it with straight lines. And actually, we could create the graph with smooth lines and switch back and forth between straight lines and smooth lines. When I click this is going to open up Microsoft Excel. And what we're going to do with Microsoft Excel is copy the data in the table into Microsoft Excel. And when we do that, that is going to create a graph in Microsoft PowerPoint. So for this set of data, we are creating a single line graph. So we have values that will go along the horizontal or x-axis and values that will go along the vertical or y-axis. If we were creating a double line graph, we would simply create a second column here, or if we had 3 lines, a third column here of data that would go along the y-axis. But for this video, we are focusing on a simple single line graph. So the first thing I'm going to do is just label the top of this column as depth because the depth in meters is going to be, all those values will be in this column. So we're going to enter 2 meters, 5, 10, 15, 25, and 30. The Y values are going to be the number of bubbles per minute. So the plant produced 29 bubbles per minute at a depth of 2 meters, 36, 45, and so on. It's really important that I press enter after I type in the last value to make sure that all of my data has been entered into Microsoft Excel. Now, when I go back to Microsoft PowerPoint, that data has been used to create a graph. So I can close out Microsoft Excel. I don't need it anymore. If for some reason I realize that I made a mistake in the data that I entered, all I have to do is right-click the graph and go to Edit Data in Excel, and I can correct my mistake. The first thing I'm going to do is just expand the graph so it takes up the majority of the page. And then the next thing I'm going to do is give my graph a title. So all I have to do is double click this text box up here and I can edit the title. The next thing that I need to do is create titles for my horizontal and vertical axes. So to do that, I'm going to click on my graph, and that's going to pop up 2 new boxes, selections at the top of Microsoft PowerPoint. So I'm going to choose Chart Design and then go to Add Chart Element. I want to add a horizontal title along the x-axis, and I want to add a vertical title along the y-axis. To edit these titles, all I have to do is double click in the text box and then enter in my title. And I want to make sure I include my units. I'll do the same thing for the y-axis. Now, there are a couple of other things that I could add to my line graph, which I tend to like to do for line graphs. I like to add grid lines, and this just makes it a little bit easier to read any points that end up being placed outside of the major increments on my scale. So let's say I wanted to edit the scale on my graph. So what I've done here is I've just selected that. I'm going to go to Format and then choose Format Pane. From here, I can alter the minimum and maximum value along the y-axis as well as along the x-axis. So all I have to do is adjust those numbers there. I can reset them by just pushing that button there. The program is going to create a best fit for the graph, so you probably won't need to adjust this unless your teacher really wants you to start or end at specific values. Now, I said before that if you wanted to, you could change whether you're using a smooth line or a straight lines. So I've gone back and clicked my graph, chosen chart design, and I can go over here to change chart type. All I have to do is select straight lines, and now the lines appear straight. I can go back and choose smooth lines if I choose to. And I hope this video teaches you a little bit more about how to create line graphs in Microsoft PowerPoint using Microsoft Excel.